Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It is the weekend before Thanksgiving. What a fun time of year. I love the holidays. I love the fall and the winter. Awesome. Now, as we enter the fourth quarter, I typically like to start focusing on business planning, mindset, goal setting, gratitude, and thanks. And so you'll find the books that I read now during this fourth quarter surround those type of concepts: mindset, business planning, gratefulness, thanks, things like that. And today is no exception. Matter of fact, today really is right in line with that series, because today I'm going to cover The Power of Positive Thinking by Vincent Peale. And everybody's heard of this book. Most of us have read this book. The book was written in 1950 or 1850. Oh, sorry. The book was published in 1952. Now, Norman Vincent Peale, he was an American minister. He's an author. He's wrote over 40 books, and a motivational speaker. He's like one of the key proponents, one of the driving minds behind thinking positive. Now, what he did is he combined his Christian principles with practical psychology. Now, he's not a psychologist, just from leading his church and seeing the challenges his parishioners have. He came up with this construct or this structure on how to live a better life. Now, this book, which is sold over 5 million copies, well over 5 million copies, it was both highly regarded and denounced. It's a faith-based book, so a lot of the teaching is anchored in faith. Now, you can read this book and you can get a lot out of it without necessarily being a person of religious faith, but you would need to have faith in something to really get the most out of this book. But because he's not a trained psychologist, and because he didn't come from the academia didn't really embrace this book, even though it has had an unbelievable influence on society, and it continues to be an exceptionally popular book. Now, I both listened to this book on Audible and I read it. Actually, listened to it twice. The first time, Norman Vincent Peale reads most of the book himself, and it's like it was recorded in the 1880s. I mean, it's very static and it's very, old-fashioned. And so I read it when I was driving on a trip, and I found myself not paying attention. And so then I had to re-listen to it out on my workouts where I didn't have any distractions, and so it kind of forced me to focus on it more, and so I got a lot more out of it. And there's a lot in this book, but it's also, in today's terms, a lot of the concepts are very simple. But you have to remember that at the time you wrote this book, these were foundational. These were new concepts. These weren't, we've had almost 100 years of them being developed, and now they're much more sophisticated when we talk about a lot of these topics. And so when you listen to the book, it's very simple stuff, but you can also see the origins of many of the books that we read today. Their origins or their roots in books like The Power of Positive Thinking. So there's 17 chapters. I'm going to just quickly summarize each chapter, like super quickly, then share some key points, and then be done for the day. And I love Sundays because, as you know, a Sunday is Book Review Sunday for me. So really quickly, chapter 1 is Believe in Yourself. The main concept of this chapter is confidence is key to success. Believing in your own abilities can unlock your potential and reduce self-doubt. In this chapter, he really preaches affirmations, using affirmations, and then faith, affirmations and faith. It elevates oneself to diminish your fear and hesitation. He definitely believes, when you do affirmations, and it could be affirmations using Bible passages, but you need to really visualize the outcome to get the subconscious to work its best for you. And then just constantly replace any thoughts of, negativity or inferiority or any negative thoughts with both faith and positive thinking. So pretty simple. Believe in yourself, chapter 1. Chapter number 2, a peaceful mind generates power. And this whole chapter is about how to have a tranquil mind, how to have clarity, so that you can put your energy into positive things. In this chapter, he's very much about prayer, meditation, mental calmness, inner peace, silence. And he argues that, look, a peaceful mind allows for better focus and more energy, and it helps you deal with stress and alleviate stress. So like I said, these concepts are simple, and there's books today that have taken each one of these concepts and written whole books on them and have done great work. But this was, 80 years ago, and so they're still true. It's just they're simple to us today. Chapter 3: How to have constant energy. And the concept of this chapter is sustained energy as a result of maintaining physical health, mental positivity, and enthusiasm. He really talks about health a lot: physical, mental, and spiritual. And part of the health, like when he doesn't say go run 10 miles. He does say you have to be healthy and exercise. He doesn't say go run 10 miles. What he says is, look, health, your energy is about how your mind thinks. If you have a positive mindset, everything else about you is more healthy. If you have a negative mindset, everything about you is less healthy. But to support that, your healthy habits include proper diet and exercise, physical vitality, and then he goes on to say it's like enthusiasm is the current that really drives health. It's a renewable source, and a source of mental and emotional energy is enthusiasm. So that's how to have constant energy. These chapters have much more in them, as always, but I'm going to try to fly through them. Chapter 4 is try prayer power. And the concept in this chapter is prayer provides strength, guidance, and clarity, helping individuals face life's challenges. This is where he really gets into when you pray, visualize the prayer result, visualize it into reality. And then you have to have consistent prayer habits and to, trust in the power of a higher being. Now, in this chapter, at the end of the chapter, in the audiobook, he has a lady, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, that actually does like the wrap up of each chapter. And in the end of this chapter, she has, I think, 7 or 8 points on how to pray, which I actually found very interesting. Because people say you should pray, and do we all know how to pray? So I thought that part was pretty interesting. Chapter 5, how to create your own happiness. And the main point of this chapter is simple. Happiness is a choice. And happiness is a choice that is rooted in a positive attitude and is anchored to focusing on your personal blessings or being grateful. So happiness is a choice. You create a happiness through a positive attitude, and you create happiness by being grateful, right? And gratitude is just life's blessings, fosters a sense of contentment. And then a lot in this chapter, he goes, look, people say how they're being realistic when often they're just being pessimistic. And so you have to rewire that to mean when you're saying you're being realistic to be optimistic. I kind of like that. I like the little spin on words. Chapter 6 is stop fuming and fretting. And this chapter talks about managing anger and worry to preserve mental clarity and emotional energy. In it, he talks about practicing forgiveness, release your emotional burdens, reframe problems as opportunities, and then cultivate a mindset of patience and composure to prevent overreaction. And in each chapter, he has exercises or tools on how to help you achieve each one of these concepts. You'll have to pick up the book to get that. Chapter 7, expect the best and get it. This is super familiar to us now. That just, it's, our thoughts have power, and so if we have positive expectations, right? If we visualize success, that's what we'll get. If we visualize failure, that's what we get, right? And so you have to pick what your mind anchors onto, and should just be really clear. Chapter 8, I don't believe in defeat. This is another simple concept. Hey, adversity is temporary. Every defeat, every failure is just a step towards success. If you look at it that way, every failure is a learning opportunity. You have to have faith to know that whatever the failure you face is going to lead to for some purpose to help you attain a better goal or a bigger goal. And so you just should have a very positive attitude about failure. Chapter 9, how to break the worry habit. And that's replacing worry with a positive action. Faith leads to a calmer, more productive life. Now here's and he uses a lot of tools like this. He does it with stress and worry and all this stuff. Just write down what worries you. Be super clear, and then address it systematically, right? And then focus on the present, not the future. Like if you're worried about something that's going to happen in 20 years, you can't really do anything about that. But if you clarify your worries and you're worried about something right now, focus on the now, not the future. And then trust that in the future you'll solve whatever problems you face. Chapter 10 is power to solve personal problems. This is a structured approach to problem solving combined with faith and resolves challenges effectively. And once again, it's very much like worry. Break the problems into manageable steps for easier solutions. So break it down, chunk it down so that you can attack it one thing at a time. Seek advice. Don't suffer in silence. Go to your mentors, people you trust, and get feedback. And then, when dealing with personal problems, maintain hopeful and positive, optimistic view on solutions are at hand. 11 is how to use faith in healing. Faith combined with positive thinking contributes to emotional and physical healing. This is some of these points in this book, some are kind of hard for me to fully put my arms around. Not that I don't believe them, but he talks, especially being a minister, he ministers people in really tragic situations and grief, and he suggests that, look, there are really horrible situations out there, but if you approach them with there's a purpose to this, and you have faith and you have positive thinking, that you can use it to your advantage to go do what your purpose is. That seems easy to say, man, but in the total despair, that's hard to practice. And I can see why people, would rely on their churches or leaders, people of faith, to help them try to, lead them through that, because that would be difficult part. So, part of this is just the positive outlook reduces stress and boosts recovery. You can get in that chapter. Chapter 12 is when vitality sags, try this health formula. And so here it is. It's like, look, it's back to this health as the power plant of energy. And he goes holistic health, including proper nutrition, exercise, and positivity, restores and sustains vitality. Okay, we know that. But and so he just argues here and he talks about, and by the way, and he gives you what he means. When you think physical care, he's not saying go lift weights or go run. It's about positive energy and it's about activity and stuff. But balanced routines for physical care enhance energy levels. Mental positivity strengthens the mind-body connection. Guard against energy draining negativity in daily life. So you kind of see it's not always just go out and run. Chapter 13, inflow of new thoughts can remake you. He goes in the chapter, replacing outdated beliefs and fresh positive ideas transforms the mind and life. It just means you got to keep growing, you got to keep learning, you got to keep expanding, and that gives you that creates all sorts of new energy, and that energy feeds your optimism and your positivity, and that's all these things work together, and that's what the whole book is. It's things that we know, but if you do this tweak, that thing, this thing, that thing, if you do all 24 of them, you'll just have this amazing, powerful energy that will be optimistic and positive. Chapter 14, relax for easy power. This is pretty simple. He goes, relaxation rejuvenates the mind, reduces stress, and restores personal power. He's very much you gotta recuperate. You gotta practice relaxation techniques like deep breathing and mindfulness. You got to get into a relaxful state, and you have to. And this is where he also goes into a quiet mind. You should just be quiet at least 15 minutes a day. No stimulus, no nothing. Try not to think. Just let it all kind of let out, type of thing. The next thing is how to get people to like you. This is another topic that's well covered. Positive relationships are built on genuine kindness, empathy, and mutual respect. So show authentic interest in others to build trust, avoid criticizing, and focus on finding common ground. Approach interactions with warmth and a positive attitude. Like I said, every one of these, he has some devices or exercises or practices. If that's something that you want to get better at, you can check out. 16, prescription for heartache. This was one of those, how to navigate grief. This was, like I said, would be really hard. Faith and perspective help navigate grief and transform loss into growth opportunities. Prayer provides emotional support during times of loss. Look for meaning in hardship to foster healing. Surround yourself with supportive people to navigate difficult emotions. Like I said, in going through that chapter, if truly facing grief, I would probably need a little bit more counsel than that, but then there probably would be more. The last chapter, dare to draw upon that higher power. And that's this connection to higher power through prayer and faith provides strength and courage for life's challenges. So you can see the book, you can see why it's called The Power of Positive Thinking. It's about 250 pages. If you listen to Audible, it's a little over 3 hours. It's worth a listen to, especially in the fourth quarter as we get ready for all the things we're facing, the holidays and business planning and New Year and all that kind of stuff. It's a good book. It's worth the read. Like I said, there's modern books that go deeper in each one of these topics, but for a foundational book, I thought it was pretty good. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you get something out of it. Hope you're having a great weekend here before Thanksgiving. And if I don't see or talk to you before it,